Hey everyone, it's the Sith Justice Warriors coming at you on our typical weekly podcast with Princess Lumpia with me.
Hey, happy.
Hey, so apologies on our lack of Fridays. I'm going to be honest, we've been taking Fridays off to play Destiny 2.
Yes,
So,
and we have some first impressions. So it's Beyond Light is the new season, right? Did I get it right?
Beyond Light's the new
Oh,
expansion.
season of the hunt. Yep,
Season of the Hunt, yeah.
hunt. And we've just been literally playing, not as much as some other people, but we've been playing.
Because it came out on the 10th, and yeah, we've really just finally on Friday basically just finally got some time together in the weekend after some grueling work and just basically grinded through. And we're not done the campaign, but we still are working through to it. So since that's our topic right now, why don't we just talk about impressions? So Lumpia, take it away. What are some of the things you like and some of the things you wish were better?
Yeah, so I do like the fact that they made some small adjustments that if you've never played the game, you would never notice. But one of them that I appreciate is the loading of if you have a bike. So if you like to travel on your motorbike in Destiny, it usually asks you to press X and hold it in order to call your bike up so you can get on it and ride around. Well, they fixed that. They must have heard some complaints. So now all you do is press X and you're already on your bike. So that like 5 seconds difference makes a difference from a gameplay perspective. So I do appreciate that. Story wise, it's still a little confusing to me because I will be honest, I skipped Destiny 1. So it sounds like it's somewhat nostalgic factor here because you go back to I mean, you're playing in Europa, but you go back to a couple places that are familiar with if you play Destiny 1, even the Stranger, and you correct me if I'm wrong, fan is from Destiny 1. Um so story wise, it's fine. Like, it's the typical kind of thing. They said it's a little bit more open worldish. I don't know. My complaints are around the sand, like I call them sandstorms, but they're actually snowstorms. So Europa is this planet that all of this takes place on, and it's very it's white. It's like ice planet Hoth, like, and it's a really cool planet, but it's really like there are times I can't see in the gameplay, and you can chalk it up to not having 60 frames per second on whatever I'm playing this on, but that kills me because I'm like, what am I shooting at? What am I shooting at? But I will say the first few moments that we were playing, you really have to grind through because you have to be a certain level and it's hard to kill the people if you're not that level. So if you're not like constantly playing, like some people are already level 23 in the season, like I'm only 7. So I will be honest, I have a day job. So but other than that, I think that, and then I think we have this introduction of this new stasis ability. So it's interesting because it's like this idea of darkness in represented by ice power or stasis, like you freeze things. And I'm not sure if I like it or not because I'm still trying to get used to it. My character is a Titan, and I usually use the mallet and swing it around. The Sunbreaker is like, or the solar power. So this ice power is something to get used to. I did notice today when I was playing, and maybe it was my frames per second. I don't know. I feel like it lasts longer than my solar power. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it being new, but whenever you try it, watch and see and let me know because I'm curious if it's just me that or not that notices that it actually lasts a hair longer, a hair like a few seconds longer. But yeah, fan, what are your thoughts? I'm probably missing a lot of other things, but those are the things that come to my mind when I think about it.
Europa's a pretty good planet. it's a shame that my favorite planet Mars was taken away.
Oh,
But I feel like that Europa, if Mars was supposed to be a winter planet, then Mars, that was a bigger version of Mars. We're playing on an Xbox One right now. We haven't really had the time to sit on the PC, but graphically, it's Destiny. And since we have a One X, the 4K is fine. But I can't wait for the day I actually splurge on the Series X, so I could get it in 60 frames or more. But I agree with you story wise. It's a bit convoluted because we really entered into this era of the darkness with the Shadow Keep and the idea that there is opposition to the light with opposing powers. I feel that stasis or the ice powers was something. It just doesn't feel like darkness in my opinion. I felt that like void, for example, that's more darkness than light.
yeah.
I think the story too, it feels that even though it's the darkness that is sort of this impending threat, the problem is that I'm fighting these fallen creatures that I understand are playing with darkness, but I don't feel like it's a big threat, this existential threat like the Reapers in Mass Effect. I don't know if that's a Destiny 3 type of expansion, but I think they're done with Destiny 3s and or 4s or 5s, that they're just basically doing expansions. So again, quality of life is slightly better, but I think we're still trying to get to the finishing out the ice stasis powers. So once we get full control of the customization of that, I think we'll probably have a comment on that one. Um, I think the Cosmodrome is nice. I played it in Destiny 1. Uh, the Stranger, I hope we get a little bit more into her background because a lot of people have a theory about that.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that, and then we'll see how it goes. So look out. We'll figure out a way to stream. But so far, I think it's positive. Lupia, you're positive on it too.
Yeah, overall, so far so good. I will say I've been playing on both Game Pass, like via like my phone. I've been playing on the Xbox. Haven't tried it on the computer yet, but have had a good experience thus far. So
Cool, cool. And since we're on the topic of games, as we try to catch up with the week, it is happy launch day for those that have Series X's, S's, and PS5s. Um, I've scoured around a little bit of the Twitterverse and some of the headlines of the reviews, and so far, I think everyone's been happy with it. So I think, hey, enjoy your games wherever you want to game, and eventually I think the games will come for Xbox. They had to pay $7.5 billion to get there, but you know what? It's still early in the generation. I think I'm waiting for that. For me, I'm personally waiting for that it factor. So, for example, Destiny's not even upgraded yet for Series X, so I think I may just wait for that and maybe other games. But Lippy, any other thoughts before? I know we touched a lot on waiting, but
yeah, no, I'm good. I'm excited to get my hands on a new next gen system when I'm ready. But for now, I'm enjoying Destiny 2. So
great, great. Um, so before we leave, we do need to have a little bit of love to Keanu. Cyberpunk 2077. They've actually made this little tidbit where in the song they refer to that Keanu Reeves is a person in the game. I just think it's funny when you have Johnny Silverhand, um, played by Keanu Reeves, and then there is an actor named Keanu Reeves. As they labeled him as a little known collapse era actor who bore an uncanny resemblance to Johnny Silverhand. I think
that's
that's just
awesome.
funny.
That is awesome. That's like the best. Of course, there has to be Keanu news somehow, somewhere until we get our hands on Cyberpunk.
Oh man, I forgot that's in less than a month.
Yeah.
December 10th. I
I
get
mean,
to
it was supposed to be this week, right?
there was a rumor, by the way, that they were going to delay it again.
I'm not surprised. I saw an article around like this is the new norm of having delays, just considering the situation that we're in. I don't blame them. You know, I get it. It's tough to collaborate on on something like this, like a programming thing when you're not in the same place. So it's probably difficult, and but yeah, I mean, I could see them doing that, but I'm really hoping that they don't.
Hopefully, I mean, I know a lot of folks are a little worried about recent news with the coof virus. So hopefully everyone stays safe. Prep if you need to. Don't let the people make you ashamed for preparing. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's say
But
something.
anyway, as you say, Keanu, we can segue perfectly into like entertainment news. So one thing I will say, which I was shocked, because going back to what I said 2 seconds ago, considering the world we live in, and the different various situations going on around the world, in the sense of like the coof, if you will, with a lot of European countries on lockdown, certain states are seeing increased cases. Keanu Reeves, this links to, they wrapped up the Matrix 4 shooting in, I think, was it Germany? Um, so it's interesting because I didn't think they would be done so fast. Or maybe they're done the shooting part. I don't know, like in Germany part. I don't know. Either way, great that we have something to look forward to whenever it decides to release. But it was just interesting that this movie, which I thought started filming either this year or late last year, um, managed to finish when Jurassic World Dominion took forever to finish. So that's where I'm just kind of like, hey, I'm grateful they were able to wrap up. But the piece of news that was related to is they decided to have a wrap celebration and, got in trouble for it because of COVID-19 rules in Europe right now. But either way, that was my piece of Keanu news to kick us off with. As it surrounds that. But I did want to mention too a couple of other delays briefly as I peruse through the news and catch up. Is of course I'm not surprised about the WandaVision delays, just because of the situation with filming. But the Wonder Woman movie is supposedly, and this is not confirmed, but supposedly they're looking at a streaming situation. Fan, what are your thoughts about that?
The Wonder Woman one. Sorry,
Yeah. The 1984, the Wonder Woman 1984 movie,
I
which
think they're gonna
also,
have.
yeah,
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to, just because I think if it was supposed to be this December, right?
yeah, it was, and it was
I,
pushed out.
yeah, it's gonna be as dark winter. That's what we were signaled. Dark winter. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make light of it, but I'm gonna be blunt about this. I don't think we have the ability in December to have the to go to watch movies. I'm surprised that there are any movie theaters still open for business, let alone able to have a business. It's a great opportunity for folks to try to cut the middleman, which is unfortunate because nothing changes the fact that the movie theater experience was sort of your way to have a high end movie theater experience for the masses, that of people that could afford it,
Mm-hmm.
whereas there are people that had one in their house. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
almost like, I hate to get a little social justice here, but it's almost like only the rich who can have their own private
movie theater.
movie theater get to have it, whereas the people who are, the quote unquote public that you have to pay for don't.
But it's just a nice reason to do something, get out and do something. Like, I will say, like right now, like if I want to go out, like if it's, let's say it's raining and you can't do anything outdoors and you know it's getting colder, like the movie theater could have been something, especially if something was coming out that was interesting, would have been an option. It's like, let's go watch a movie, because having popcorn, having like, it was like a treat. And like now it's like I find myself asking, like, where do I want to go today? Because I'm so limited. Costco, like that's where I'm gonna go. Like, or like, you know what I mean? It becomes like, then I guess I am staying home because I don't know that I can really go anywhere to really enjoy myself. Like I can't even go to the library. It's like curbside pickup there. So different world, you know?
Yeah, and it's gonna be your new normal. I just don't see, even if you have that therapeutic vaccine that's widely accepted, the problem is I think we've created a lot of fear into people, and we've done things in a very fast, expedient way that I think people are still skeptical of everything.
Yeah.
Again, not to go delve into that part of the world of society, but when it comes to movie theaters and such, it's going to be, they're not gonna, they can't release this thing in December. They're just gonna have to recoup the losses and just say, hey, 19 Wonder Woman 1984 is an HBO Max for an additional charge, just the way like Mulan did.
Yeah.
Do we have official numbers on Mulan?
I don't remember. I'll look while we keep talking, but yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, um it was a nice, having an option to go to the movie theater was something that some of us actually looked forward to. Like just like going to a restaurant. Like if you wanted to celebrate an anniversary, you would go to the restaurant. If you wanted to have even a mini date night, like, so like I said, um just, I just would have, it sucks that this is the way it is, but you'd rather be safe and healthy, and I get that, but it also is just, it's just rather upsetting that like
Mhm.
this is where we are heading towards, so oh well. But
Oh
I'm
well.
looking at Mulan's numbers. I mean, they actually do have international numbers, because in other countries they actually are they actually are allowing people to watch in the movie theaters. So, they do have worldwide box office movies. It's actually 69 million, if I'm correct, in terms of movies. Box office. I don't know about like stats of like the other things, because they didn't really release any of like the Netflix stats, but they released the box office piece. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be coming out for people who don't have it but have Disney, who didn't want to pay the $29. So we'll see if it was worth it. But like I said, it is no different than renting like a movie for $5.99. When they used to come out to your cable subscription or something like that. The problem is that, like I said, you just lose this whole factor of like, oh, I'm out of the house, I'm doing something, like take the kids out to see a movie as a treat, take a spouse out to the movie like for a date night, like that kind of thing. So like I said, sometimes it's a nice reason to get out of the house, but the problem is there aren't that many reasons to get out of the house anymore. So
Mm.
yeah. Anyway, I digress. But I guess my thing is like, if that is the new norm, I think an infrastructure needs to be set up properly, and I don't think there is. Um, this would have honestly been the perfect time for like a Fandango, or like back in the day Voodoo, but like a Fandango to take the lead and have a hub for it all. The problem is that the people who own the movie won't put it on. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different like things to consider from rights perspective and things like that. But it would have been nice to have like a one-stop shop for all of this, that here's all the like a movie theater, here's your virtual movie theater. Here's what you want to watch, like that kind of thing. Versus like, am I a member of HBO Max subscription? Do I have a Disney Plus subscription? Do I have Comcast, NBC, Peacock, whatever, like that kind of thing? Like that, do I have Amazon Prime Video? Like, it becomes a mess, to be honest. So if I could figure that out in the span of time that would allow me to capitalize on it, I would have totally, but I don't have the brain power or the ability to create an app that does that and manage the legality issues of it all. So someone out there listening, it's a great business idea if you have the time and effort to put into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
cool. I guess moving on a little bit. Suicide Squad's going to have Sylvester Stallone. I don't really know the greater Suicide Squad folks, so is there anything interesting on your side about this?
Well, I just want to point out that it's not a surprise because James Gunn worked with him briefly on the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and so typically he brings the people he's worked with on the film. Thus, most of the Suicide Squad members were in Guardians of the Galaxy, like Michael Rooker. So I'm not surprised. Who he's gonna play is beyond me. I wasn't a big like Darth Sirius was a big fan of the Suicide Squad movie. I wasn't. I felt like it was okay, but it was like I didn't feel like I wanted to root for these bad guys. Like, so I really, I don't know. Like I said, I just, it didn't resonate with me as much. It was okay. It was better than a lot of other movies, but I prefer like an Aquaman style of movie than something a little bit dark like that. So, like I said, I'm not sure who he's gonna play, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out soon enough. I'm just shocked because I thought they started filming Suicide Squad, so part of me is like, isn't it a little late to be adding someone to the movie? But whatever, maybe I don't know anything about it. I will say this, actually, now that you mentioned James Gunn, and it made me think of Guardians of the Galaxy. I think IGN reported that in Thor: Love and Thunder, Chris Pratt was actually going to reprise his role as Star-Lord.
He wasn't canceled yet?
What?
He wasn't canceled completely yet?
No, he wasn't canceled completely. So he's going to be joining Natalie Portman, Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and Christian Bale. So, yeah, it'll be interesting because I'm not quite sure. I mean, it kind of makes sense because at the end of Endgame, was it like he basically rode off with the Guardians, Thor. So they're probably kind of together for like 2 seconds. It's probably like even a cameo, if anything. So just another bit of news. It's just crazy because people have to work, and I'm just wondering what's going to happen to Hollywood now that we don't have these movie theaters. I don't think the movie theaters will survive, sadly, and so then there'll be no movie theaters.
I don't think. Yeah, to add to that, people need to find work. So I don't think there's any disposable income for people to go to a movie theater if it exists.
Yeah, and so to your point, exactly. Then it's like a domino effect. These movie stars don't have work. What does unemployment look like for someone who makes that much money?
I hope they have other business ventures to cover themselves. I'm sure
you would hope. You would hope.
I'm sure they're all connected to the new institution. So,
but one thing I did want to also mention, I know we're going on tangents, but there was a lot of news actually that trickled through this week, even though like, I was busy really focused on Destiny. Um, what was I gonna say? The Mandalorian, you still haven't caught up.
Mm.
I really would like to talk about it, but I don't want to do spoilers or anything.
We'll schedule a review or discussion because I need to. Yeah.
And
I'll
I'm
leave it
pretty
at
sure
that.
Sirius would want to talk through it too because like this latest one is building up to like this whole dark saber thing, and it's building up to the Jedi and like cameos by the people that we knew were going to be in it anyway, like Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka Tano, Katie Sackhoff reprising her role from Rebels as Bo-Katan. So like, um, you know, I will say, like, sometimes there are filler episodes in The Mandalorian, but at least these continue to move him forward this time around. I forget how many episodes this season will be, but if it's 8 like it was before, then we're getting close. We're getting to the halfway point, which will be interesting. But I do want to talk about it, but only when you've caught up. I like it so far, and I'm glad it came out because I feel like it came out at the right time. I mean, I'm really grasping for straws at what to watch right now, and like regular TV, I watch my staples like Bob's Burgers, which I love, and we watch The Family Guy. But like, I have run out of things to binge watch, and I'm stuck now with the Christmas movies that Netflix airs, the cheesy ones. So I'm like, I need something, and this came at the right time. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah. But I'm pretty sure Sirius wants to join us on that conversation because there's a lot of nuances to what we want to talk through. Just in terms of timeline of Mandalorian, just in terms of like the characters that are in this season, because what it's more or less like I'm trying to even backtrack and figure out where does this all fit in, because if the timeline is that the Mandalorian's between episode 6 and 7, how are these things happening? And like I haven't watched all of Rebels, but I know enough. Like, so again, just want to get your thoughts on it when we have a deep dive, and maybe we'll do it by episode 4. Hopefully you'll catch up.
Yeah, I need to do that. So, um, I guess the one thing I did want to ask you though is apparently people were complaining about the fact that Bo-Katan was during Rebels, which
Yes.
is X amount of years before Star Wars, not Force Awakens. What is it called? Uh, A New Hope, right?
Mhm.
Katie Sackhoff looks pretty young versus Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, no, Rebels actually took place. Rebels is where Anakin is still Ahsoka Tano's mentor.
Ah, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you corrected me. I've been
Yeah,
fat.
you're thinking Clone Wars. So yeah,
Okay.
this is like yeah, Rebels, and then like even Darth Maul was alive in Rebels, like, But
Right.
no, that's the timeline I'm trying to complain about, is that I was going back and forth with Sirius on this because Bo-Katan technically fought Darth Maul when he was alive, and that's why I was like, but if Darth Maul isn't alive in Mandalorian, and they have already made that statement that he is well dead, then I'm just kind of like, but she doesn't have the dark saber because that's who she took it from, I think. Then how is he not alive? Like, I don't know. Like I said, the timeline's a little warped for me, and so if anyone knows what the timeline is, I would love it.
Did they kill Gina Carino's character? I
I
know she
hope
was on the
not. She's
trailer
not
too.
in. She hasn't popped up lately, so
I know they want to kill. They want to cancel her. So
which is a shame because I really like her character. Like, I
mm,
really, really do. So
not nothing to do with her character. Just has to do with
her
cancel
Twitter.
culture.
And
She's back the wrong horse.
all I'm saying is, like, seriously, yeah, but they let Pedro Pascal, and no offense, dude, but You get paid enough to wear a helmet. Wear the helmet.
He
Like,
went spastic too on some of
no,
the
like to the point where
fans.
he's no longer the guy wearing the helmet, which is like, come on, you're an actor. Like everyone else is wearing the freaking helmet. Like, come on. Man up and wear the helmet. That's the way I look at it. We
Mm,
all have to wear a helmet sometimes. It's heavy. Like, you know?
mm.
Anyway,
I hear you, but I did wanted to ask you, did you get to I only heard about this, but the DC Comics layoffs, did you hear about that?
the most recent,
Yeah, there was apparently Bloodbath Part 2.
I did not hear much of it. I think it came up on my YouTube feed and I
Ethan, Caesar.
probably filed it away for like a rainy day and I never got a chance to listen, but I briefly think I saw a headline, but I don't know who it impacted.
So basically, new layoffs Part 2, and AT&T has been culling their non-profitable divisions. I mean, CNN is automatic. I heard that's up for sale. I believe
Gosh, really?
gonna be a layoff since there's going to be a lack of interest based on recent developments in America. So with DC side though, their Part 2, they announced that Marie Javins will be the new editor in chief. Let's
What,
see here.
reporting to Jim Lee? Is she gonna
No, I think she's the boss.
oh,
Let's
of
see.
everything.
With Marie Javins elevated to full EIC, what would happen to her former EIC, Michelle Wells? That was the answer. Oh, breeding bleeding cool. Understand that DC Comics has informed the following employees that they will be ending with Adam Phillips, Stuart Shrek, Fletcher Chu Fong, Sandy Yee, Lisette Osterling, Michelle Wells, and Alex Carr. These are senior level folks, SVPs, VPs, managers, etc. There's also a bunch of other redundancies, and yeah, it's Part 2, and I think with Ethan in his YouTube was saying that he believes Jim Lee will be leaving the company. Um, yeah, it's AT&T has been not they're not messing around. I think they're into cash right now. And look, I wish they kept Crunchyroll, but I guess they wanted value, so that's probably the only thing of value that'll give them profit.
Yeah, like
Everything else, CNN's been bleeding, and CNN to get viewers, they paid I think 20 million or something for U.S. airports to air CNN. So you're basically buying views,
wow.
and then obviously DC's been going through a culling as well.
That's crazy though, because like, I mean, you're right though. AT&T is like literally they like this is like no holds barred kind of shit going on. And I mean, I will say cash is king right now, especially in this type of environment. And with the uncertainty of how this this antivirus sort of thing is going to be or whatever, like this vaccine, like I don't know. And just with the way things are looking, like I agree with what they're saying that it just sucks, like because these are people's lives in a pandemic. And but if there's redundancies, that's usually what happens when there are. And organizations tend to run leaner. This is by no means an indication of a recession. As a matter of fact, this is an indication of just literally preempting another round of COVID, which, and I will say it, we're seeing spikes. So I'm not surprised. They're just kind of the rip the band aid off, cut the leg off kind of situation, it seems like. So, whereas others are trying to stave off the sort of bleeding, AT&T is like, I'm cutting the leg off because it's hemorrhaging, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So more to come on that. I mean, if you want something new, fresh, we recommend to go look on Kickstarter or Indiegogo and find something to back, because there are some really hungry but talented artists out there,
Yep.
and creators, and I think the best stories, as I'll quote Ethan on that, the best stories have been told on your favorite DC Marvel franchises.
Yeah, and like honestly, like, and I want to do an episode maybe at some point on the things we've backed and the things we go back to via Kickstarter. Um, December 4th, Jamie Tyndall, one of your faves, is launching a new Kickstarter. And like I said, it's just nice, it's refreshing, and there's still a place for this media in the world. And so, like you said, some of these artists, like they this is their job. So, and this is not just their job, this is their passion. So, why not? I'm such a big fan of supporting them and really backing like a lot of their talented like teams and everything like that. So definitely want to do an episode where we kind of, highlight a couple of them that we love. Jamie's one of them, Brian Polito's another one. They're just quality items that they put out. And it's just amazing. Like I said, amazing. Talented Isaac Bell is another one of my favorites. So, and they lead you into other people that like you're just like, oh, I didn't know this person existed. This is like the kind of story I would read. And so it's fun. It's like a treasure hunt, but like comic book treasure hunt.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a pretty good time to call it an episode, unless you've got any last minute
Yep,
items to.
I'm all good. I think we've caught up. My mind, I will say, guys, is on Destiny. I'm trying to figure out how to hit that level cap, but um, I'll get there. It's Monday after all, so Destiny gets pushed out to Friday.
I know that's been our thing, is that you grind through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I have to admit, that's the reason why I can't beat any other game, is because I have to put it all into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's just Destiny grinding.
Yep.
And then with Season of the Hunt, they were talking about how you finally get to see Aldrin, because you ended not Shadowkeep, Forsaken. Aldrin was the brother of Queen Mara,
Yep.
and he killed Cade, and he was tricked by this creature that he needed to kill Cade and get a light, and you killed Aldrin in revenge, and guess what? He gets resurrected. So I just want to get to Season of the Hunt, because that I want to know what happened, and I want to see this whole struggle that they were talking about in the vid doc, where he's Aldrin,
Yep.
who's I guess a bad guy. I never took him as a bad guy, but then he's like wiped clean, no memory.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and the thing about Aldrin, I don't know why. Like, I know your first introduction with Aldrin was in Destiny 2. You never played Destiny 1, but Aldrin was just like the brother who was the, like, not the lesser to his sister, but obviously his sister was queen, so he was always very, like, serving of his sister, the
Yeah.
queen. Like, that's part of the reason why he did what he did, was he thought he could resurrect his sister, and by killing Cade and doing all this stuff. But
Interesting.
I never took him as a person who was evil. I just took him as a poor soul.
Yeah, like he was kind of led astray in a weird way. Serving his sister who was actually the bad guy, I think, right?
No, she
No.
just has her own thing.
Yeah.
I just don't like. We never got to explore that at the Dreaming City, but like we never got to go to her like do the quest to make the offerings, to then go and because we didn't get we don't have a big team enough to do a raid. So
Yeah, I know.
anyone interested to join a raid, help us get to our first raid, because we've yet to do a raid, please. Goody mob. um that being said, looking forward to the week, looking forward to some news, and looking forward to putting some hours down into the Mandalorian, because you two, Sirius and Lumpia, have been talking great things about it, and I
Yeah, I would love your perspective because usually you tend to stay in the middle or of the both of us or on the opposite side. So
I think my issue is that I think Star Wars has been so bastardized to me.
yeah.
That's why it's I don't have this rush to see it, but then sometimes when I see it, I get so nostalgic and I like, oh, yeah, I like that. Like when you guys were talking about this dark saber stuff, I was just thinking, man, Disney doesn't know what else more you could do with it. But then the dark saber thing was at Rebels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that was a Lucas thing, right?
I hope so. I would hope so, but
It's
yeah.
in such a flux, like it's weird to me, and that's why.
Because there are times that he's like, no, I had nothing to do with that, or yes, this was my plan for Luke all along, and it's like, George, stop. Just stop.
No, I believe Luke was gonna die. I just don't think he was gonna die like a bitch. I'm sorry, I said a curse, but this is my one curse. He was not gonna die like that. It just
Drinking green milk,
mm,
or whatever color it was, and going out in the good night.
yeah, no, I can't relive that trauma.
Well, this has nothing to do with it, thank goodness.
Yeah. So with that said, let's end it here. If you like our show, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications as we drop content. Also note that we are on Twitter at Justice Sith, and also we will post a audio only version of the podcast on popular places like Spotify and Google Podcasts. With that said, see you all on the Sith side.
Bye.